Somebody asked me recently if it's okay to remove a USB stick like this one from a computerized embroidery machine while it's in the process of embroidering a design. I'm Ollie, this is SimplyStitchy, and in today's video I'll be showing you the reasons why I think taking this out of the machine while it's using it is a really bad idea. What we're going to need to look at first is what is a USB stick. These aren't just called USB sticks, they're also known as flash drives, thumb drives, pen drives and memory sticks. USB refers to Universal Serial Bus, and these particular little sticks are known as USB sticks because that little connection fits into the USB port on your computer or your laptop. And the way I like to look at it is the bus part of the Universal Serial Bus name refers to transferring something from one place to another, like a bus would take you from home to the shops, for instance. And that's what these things are. They're modes of transport, if you like, only in this particular instance they're transporting data from one point to another. The way memory sticks work with embroidery machines is you go on somewhere like the internet, for instance, and you see a design that you really like and you download it to your computer, and the next thing you do is you transfer that design to the memory stick and take the memory stick to your embroidery machine, and then what you do is you insert the stick into the USB port at the side of the machine. What I thought would be a great thing to do is actually test to see what happens when you take a USB stick out of an embroidery machine. I've popped some embroidery designs on there. The one thing to remember with USB sticks and embroidery machines is make sure you've only got on the stick the embroidery designs that you want to use, and there's not too much on there, because when you click the USB button there, it will try to read what's on the USB stick and transfer it to the machine, and the more stuff you've got on there, the longer that's going to take. We've got a little folder that's come up saying PES files. That's the folder that's on the USB stick, and there's the little hourglass to say that it's looking at the disk. And from here all you need to do is just look through to see if you can find the design that you want to do. I'm going to go for that cute little duck. There he is. I'm not going to bother changing anything on it. And what I'm going to do first is pull the stick out on this menu to see what happens. So as you can see, once you've taken the stick out, it will still embroider the design. It's perfectly happy to do that. The reason why is it's taken the information off the stick and saved it to the internal memory. If I now go back by using the back button, and I try and go back in to look at the memory stick, it's telling me it's not there because obviously I've taken it out. So I'm going to pop it back in. And this time I'm going to take it out at this stage. What it's done is by taking the USB stick out, it's kicked me back to the main menu. I'm going to go for the USB, hit the PES files folder, and there it goes again. It's gone straight back to the screen. And the reason why it's doing that is because once you plug the USB into the side of the machine and you hit that button, you're telling the memory part of this machine to start reading what's on the stick, and if the stick isn't there, it can't access the information. So you have to make sure that the information that's on the stick has been transferred to the memory banks on the machine before you take the stick out. And we've got a lot of different suggestions here. I've got a couple of other folders that have got other designs in. Flower baskets by the look of it. There you go. Once again, because it hadn't finished saving the embroidery design to the machine, as soon as I plugged the stick out, it reverted back to the main menu. Let's try that one again. Okay. What you're going to need to do is push the set button, embroidery. Okay, so I'm going to start that going. As long as you have given the design chance to transfer to the machine, as long as you've pushed that set button and you're ready to go for embroidery, you can take the stick out of the machine. And one thing that I forgot to try, if we go back in and have another look, I think it was that one, wasn't it? Let's see what happens if I pull it out at this stage. This is before I've pushed the set button. And we're going to try that one more time. I'm going to push set. And now I'm going to pull the stick out. Okay, so the stick's here. Now we're going to see if we can mess about with this design while the stick isn't in the machine. I'm going to try rotating it. Do 90 degrees. So you've got an edit end button here. Now push that. Move it over a little bit, because why not? And push embroidery. My light's gone green. Once you've hit that button to say you want to use designs on a USB stick, you have to make sure that you've selected your design and hit that set button before you take the memory stick out, because up until the point where you've pushed that set button, the computer is still reading the data on the stick. The one thing to be aware of with this particular embroidery machine, this is my brother SE625. Once you've stitched the design and you've finished embroidering and you've taken the stick out and you've cancelled that design on the machine, if that memory stick isn't in the machine, there's no way of getting back to that design. It doesn't save it permanently on the machine. It only saves it to the machine while you're embroidering it. If you want to get the design back to maybe stitch it again, you have to relocate it, oops, on the memory stick. As I said at the start of the video, I think trying to take a memory stick out of an embroidery machine while it's in the process of embroidering is actually a really bad idea. The reasons why I think it's a really bad idea is, number one, if your memory stick is in use by whatever device you happen to plug it into, whether it's your embroidery machine, your computer or your laptop, if the computer is reading what's on the memory stick and you just pull the memory stick out, you stand a very good chance of corrupting the data on the memory stick. which means that next time you plug it into your embroidery machine, you might find that the design skips stitches, or it just won't read the design that's on the stick, which isn't necessarily a problem if you've transferred a design from your computer or your laptop that you've downloaded off the internet and popped it onto the memory stick, because you can just recopy it. But if you've bought a design package from let's say an embroidery club, where you've joined up and you've paid money to get a memory stick with embroidery designs that you've paid for on, and you've just whipped it out without making sure it was closed down, that's a very expensive way of losing your embroidery designs. There's only one safe time that you can actually remove a USB stick from an embroidery machine, and that's when you're 100% positive that the machine isn't reading the data that's on the stick. Now I'll say that again because it's important. The only time that you can take a USB stick out of an embroidery machine is when you are 100% positive that the machine isn't reading the data on the stick. Another reason why I recommend you don't pull your USB stick out of your embroidery machine while it's actually embroidering is because it shortens the life of the memory stick. Memory sticks, USB sticks, thumb drives, whatever you want to call them, have a limited lifespan, and it's determined by the number of times you pop it in a machine and pull it out. Depending on the type of stick you've got or the brand that you're using, you're looking at an average of around 1500 cycles, which is popping it in and pulling it out. So if you're going to be doing that in the middle of a design, you know, you're popping another design on, putting it back in, you're causing wear and tear on the stick and the port on the machine. If you get into the habit of just removing your memory stick from out of your embroidery machine while it's in use, there's a very good chance that you'll do that with your computer. You'll have your USB plugged into your computer or your laptop or whatever, and you just yank it out while it's still reading a document or something. If you're using a USB stick, memory stick, flash drive, thumb drive, pen drive even, inside of your machine, leave it in there while you're stitching the design. The next question that we need to look at is, why would you want to pull the USB stick out of the machine in the first place? Well, as you can see here, USB sticks do tend to stick out quite a long way from the actual machine, and it's not impossible to knock them by accident, especially if you've got a constricted sewing or embroidery area and you need somewhere to put your coffee cup, and you end up putting it on this side of the machine fairly close to your USB stick. It is very easy to just accidentally knock the side of that USB stick. Now there is a school of thought here that says you shouldn't really be putting your coffee cup that close to any sewing machine, because most sewing machines these days tend to be computerized or electric, and electrics and liquids don't tend to mix that well, and when they do, it never ends well for the actual electric device. So probably a better idea to put your coffee somewhere else. But if you do need to put your coffee here, get a cup that doesn't spill, but also change the way you use your USB stick. The first solution is you can get something that's known as a pigtail. Now what this is it's an extension, if you like. You plug the cord into the side of the machine and then you plug your USB stick into that, and it just gives you that extra bit of space. It might even give you enough room to put the USB stick flat on the table surface. Not only does it give you more room, but it also cuts down the wear and tear on the port on the machine, because obviously if the cable's in the machine, you're only plugging the stick out of the cable rather than the actual port. The other thing you can do is you can get one of these. This is a USB stick, believe it or not, and what it is basically, it's a little tiny itsy bitsy USB stick. You see that? See how small that is? I'll just compare it against one of the other ones. There you go. It's literally just that part of the actual USB stick. It's cute, isn't it? And what you do, you just plug it in as you would any normal USB stick. And look at that. That is actually flush with the machine. So there's no risk of knocking that at all. I'll pop a link in the description box to both for you. I'm an Amazon affiliate, there'll be Amazon links. Using the link doesn't cost you any extra, you'd only pay what you pay for the item anyway. But using it does help support me and the channel, and I appreciate it. You don't have to use the links, you don't even have to buy these things from Amazon if you don't want to. You can get them from anywhere that sells stationery or computer paraphernalia. I hope you liked today's video, and I hope it's made it clearer about whether it's okay to remove a USB stick while your computer's still embroidering a design from it. If you did like today's video, give it a thumbs up, and why not subscribe and check out some of the other videos that I've got on the channel using the links coming up on the screen any minute now, or the ones I'll put in the description box below for you. And whatever video you go and check out next, hope to see you back here for the next one, and in the meantime, whatever you're sewing it with, embrace your creativity and have fun. Thank you ever so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.